Story. Chapter 11 Valentine's Day. Mi du ri yakun tilde. A voice woke Izuku up from his slumber, appearing an image of a yellow-headed boy on top of him. Izuku bulged his eyes and sat up immediately, causing both of their foreheads to clash on each other. Ow! Shouted Kaminari, holding his forehead, feeling the pain stinging, on the floor. Izuku did the same on the bed and glared at Kaminari. Ow, what was that for? You're the one who bumped into me. Well, I'm sorry, you surprised me there, he told him, removing the blanket off his lap. And why are you up so early? My alarm will be off in 10 minutes. I couldn't help it. Do you know what day is today? Kaminari stood up, hopping around, happily. Izuku furrowed his brows. Is it someone's birthday? Kaminari just kept his smile, shaking his head. Nope. Test. No. Seriously, what's happening? Izuku then gave up, tired with him already so quickly. It's Valentine's Day. The boy raised both of his hands in joy, but left Izuku still looking bored. So, Kaminari then jumped on the bed. It is where the boys will receive chocolates from girls who likes them. He clasped his hands together, with sparkles surrounding him. So that's what you're excited for? Asked Izuku, scratching his head. Yeah, every year, I'm always one of the boys who gets the most chocolates and now today is the day. Izuku nodded, uninterested as he made his way to the bathroom. Anyways, just get ready for school. Well, he was technically a playboy, he mumbled to himself, filling water in his palms as he washed his sleepy face. Izuku then wondered, it's true that girls have to give chocolates to the guy they like. But every year, Izuku will only receive one packet from an unknown person. It has never bothered him or made him interested since him being dense is what he always does best. Before. Now Izuku feels a bit insecure for today. What happens if that girl lost interest in him and stopped giving him one? He will be the only person without one and he will be part of the loser's position when it comes to love. He's now totally embarrassed by the thought of that. But unlike before, he didn't care. But why today? He feels like he needs one, at least one to make him feel better. He shook his head from the thought and made his way to the dining room. Let's go and receive some chocolates together, Midoriya, the happy boy said, nudging Izuku's sides. If you actually will ever get one. Izuku rolled his eyes. Yeah, whatever. They both went inside the campus as Izuku took off his shoes. He then got startled and looked over at his locker. This is where every typical girls would put chocolates, right? In their shoe locker, Izuku thought as he opened the locker door, with his heart beating fast. He squinted his eyes, hoping there'd be one, but all he found was just his school shoes alone. He then slouched in disappointment. But then he realized what he was thinking. What the hell? What on earth am I thinking right now? There, he gave himself a good slap on the cheek, making the other students around him catch this attention. Promoted stories. You'll also like A Hero's Love Desire. 3.6K62. It's almost Valentine's Day and Izuku Midoriya, Deku is starting to realize that he has a crush on Ochako Uraraka, but he doesn't know if she feels the same way. He tries. Lover's Day. Izuku Midoriya x Reader x Bakig. 181K6.1K. Valentine's Day competition. At Your Hero Academia. What will happen when an innocent holiday becomes a vicious competition? Friends become rivals. Rivals remain Mania. Katsuki Bakugo. 160K 7.4K. Mania UA. High is the birthplace of legendary pro heroes and a bountiful source of memories. Memories are meant to be cherished. Memories are what make our lives. The 1 tilde Todoroki X reader, check mark. 772K 22.5K and quad. It's just, and quad. Her eyes were brimming with tears. No, please don't cry, I silently begged. I can't stand to see you hurt. And quad. I don't want to see any of. Devotion rightwards two-headed arrow Katsuki Bakugo X reader. 1.6M 47.1K. YN is a new student at UA High. She moved away with her dad a few years ago after her mom disappeared. While she lived here, her two friends Izuku Midoriya and Katsuki. Key holder Boku no Hero Academia fanfic. 2672. First, there was ice. Pain followed. This is how it has always been. But when you're hurt and alone, will anyone come to help, despite all your missteps? Fumiko Hana. You again. 122K 3.8K. Katsuki Bakugo did not believe in fate, but when Ochako Uraraka burst into the 1A classroom with big news, he was forced to reconsider. And oh, where Katsuki is 3E. Just like that, he made a run for it. Oh, man, now I just look stupid. He entered the classroom and saw Todoroki next to his table, standing there. Todoroki called Izuku, making his way to him. Hey, Midoriya, the other waved as Izuku sat down. What happened? Izuku asked. I don't know, man, he scratched his nape, unsurely. If it's just me or Yaoyaoruzu has been avoiding me today. Avoiding you. Why? Todoroki's lips formed a line. I don't exactly know. Maybe there's just stuff's bothering in her head right now, he told to him. But what if it's not that? Todoroki then said, being gloomy again. Don't worry, we'll just see what happens. But Izuku saw her presence entering the classroom and he immediately looked down. Alright, I think teacher's almost here, Todoroki said. See you, Midoriya. Yeah, replied Izuku. Ochako then sat next to the green vest boy. She didn't greet him with a smile. It was really hard to talk to him already, which is awfully terrible for her. She couldn't say a word or anything from her mouth, but silence just filled between the two. She then patted an area on her bag, feeling the bumpy side to check if it's there. After that, she placed her bag next to the table as she took out her books. At the same time, Izuku did the same. The atmosphere was very dull from them and being quiet was making it worse. Both of them didn't know how to start the conversation, or rather just Ochako. She bit her bottom lip, feeling nervous to speak up. She opened her mouth as she said, Deku, good morning, class, the teacher interrupted, as the class stood up, greeting the teacher. Ochako frowned in disappointment and sat back down with a bleak expression. What should I do? School already finished and Todoroki went out to look for Momo. She left the classroom in an instant without saying anything. While walking through the corridors and the classrooms, she caught Momo in the entrance. He smiled and ran to her. Yaoyaoruzu. Momo turned around to see Todoroki running towards her. She then quickly showed him her palm, halting him. He stopped his tracks as he stared at her just a few centimeters apart. What happened? She then handed him a packet of chocolates on his hands. He then smiled brightly once again with a blush on his red, bruised cheeks. Thank you, Yaoya. He stopped when he saw her down look. She looked very devastated and her eyes being covered by her long bangs. Yaoyaoruzu. Todoroki called her, concerned. She sniffed a bit and looked up at him. I'm sorry, Todoroki. We have to end it here. With those words, which Todoroki didn't expect to hear from her beautiful mouth, made him widen his eyes with shock. His heart stopped for a second and his body trembling, still catching of what she just said. And what? This relationship, she immediately told him. I have to go now. My driver is waiting for me until now. There, she dashed away from Todoroki on the spot, leaving him blank. Wait, Yaoyaruzu. He tried to chase after her, but stopped when she entered her car. The car wasn't hers but someone else's one. Why would Momo go inside another car? But the driver looked very peculiar. He looked rather young and his face still had a youth kind of look. He had blonde hair and his body was finely built up well. No way that would be a driver. But Momo left the school after that, leaving Todoroki alone, holding the chocolates that she gave. Those chocolates meant for them to stay away from each other. But why would Momo do such a thing? She would never do this. Todoroki started to shake with tears forming in his eyes. He squatted down, hugging his legs, crying in sorrow. I don't want to give up, but he couldn't continue his sentence. He didn't know what to say. That was the worst day of his life. He got shot down. Izuku started unlocking his locker. He then heard someone talking next to him. It was a boy with his friend, showing off what was in his hands. Izuku then eavesdropped their conversation. Look, Tamaki-chan gave me a chocolate. He grinned. The boy chuckled and showed him his as well. A secret admirer gave me one, too. We're so lucky today, man. The other one clinged his arms around his shoulder. Izuku stared down at his locker, feeling sad. He was right. That girl lost interest on him. He can't blame her. He did ignore her for the past years, not even answering her questions in the paper with the chocolates. Midoriya, someone whined at him. Kaminari, Izuku responded, seeing the person in an upset expression. What happened? He showed him a frustrated look. No one gave me any chocolates this year. He complained quietly. Izuku then snorted, which made Kaminari irritated. Hey, it's not funny. I bet you didn't get one. Izuku then widened his eyes, and turned disappointment, nodding in defeat. Kaminari closed his eyes and turned around. I'm going now, I'll go ahead. He then set foot out of the campus. Kaminari went outside and started walking to Izuku's house. He sighed and started frowning in his journey. It was so embarrassing, he thought. None of the girls that he dated gave him at least one. Maybe their small brains has finally realized of what a big jerk Kaminari has been towards them. Well, it was his fault. He was overly excited this morning and only to know that he will not receive anything. Today was the worst day of his life. Hey, scumbag. Someone called him, which made Kaminari's veins popped out in his temples. He gritted his teeth in anger. Why, you, ugly bastard. He turned around, only to find Jiro alone on the spot. He widened his eyes and stiffened in fear. I'm sorry, I thought you were. But then Jiro came closer to him, revealing a fist. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Then Jiro gave him a small punch right on his stomach, but it gave Kaminari a little sting. Ow, why did you d? But then something landed on his palms when he grabbed onto his stomach. He felt the plastic feeling around it and looked down to find a packet of chocolates in his hands. He got taken aback, widening eyes with a gap in his lips. Are these? That was supposed to be for someone else, but he didn't make it, so you can have that garbage, Jiro told, putting her hands in her pocket. No response came from Kaminari and she clicked her tongue. Why are you so quiet all of a sudden? She stopped when she saw Kaminari's calmed and happy look. His face has been plastered with a joyful expression. She widened her eyes and smiled a bit. I knew making chocolates for him was worth my time. Jiro-san. Kaminari called with a heartfelt grin as he spreaded his arms to hug her. I idiot, don't come any close. Her face reddened brightly as Kaminari hugged her. Let go, she demanded, but it didn't work. She was ready to punch him, but his words made her stop. Thank you, Jiro, he said, sweetly. The tone in his voice made Jiro's heart melt. She slowly closed her eyes, forming a smile on her lips. After a while, she then gave him a good punch on his stomach. Kaminari stepped back, holding his stomach in pain. Ow, hope you enjoy the chocolates, she then left him. I will, shouted Kaminari with a grin, despite his stomach in soreness. Jiro then smiled once again, behind his back. Her cheeks still showing a red color as she made her way home. Iida-kun tilde heart, a person so-called Hatsume, called across the hallway. The voice sent chills in Iida's spine as he jolted in his position, unable to escape. He turned around to face her. Ha Hatsume-san, he called back. Happy Valentine's Day, she greeted, showing him a packet of chocolates in her hands. Iida's face turned pale with the sight on her palms. It sure was chocolate, but shaped as Iida's entire face. The details were perfectly just right. He doesn't know if he should be impressed or creeped out. Why are the chocolates my faces? He asked, but she just handed him the chocolates. Hope you enjoy them. She grinned at him. Iida squirmed his mouth into a forced smile, trying to show her that he cares, but actually he doesn't. He will at least eat this since it took a lot of her effort. So he kindly accepted it before she departed. He sighed alone there, staring at the chocolate, which is his face. How to make her stop this? Kirishima-kun, called Mina. Kirishima heard the voice and turned around to see Mina behind him. Oh, Ashido. Kirishima waved at her with a grin. Mina's pinkish face turned even more pink, with her legs already about to give in. Her temples formed sweat and her heart was beating like lightning. She could feel her hand trembling, for what she was about to do is something she has never done before. So, what's up? Asked the red-headed boy. Mina's lips gaped but no words came out, but her hands gave away. She handed him the chocolates she made. Kirishima stared at it and his face soon brightened up after that. Whoa, I got a chocolate, he said with joy. You didn't receive any? Mina asked him, with a surprised look. Kirishima smiled. It's okay, I'm not like those desperate ones. Mina chuckled after that. Well then, do you still want my chocolate? Yeah, said the guy, politely taking the packet from her hands. Thank you, Ashido. Mina's head looked down as her cheeks became hot. She really wanted to confess to him now, but she just feels like it's not the time. She wasn't ready for that moment. I'll see you, then, Mina said as she departed. Kirishima waved back and went somewhere. After walking around for a while, he finally spotted him. Siro, he called. The other boy turned around to find Kirishima, walking towards him. Kirishima, here. Kirishima handed him over the chocolates that Mina gave. Siro gave a question look. Isn't this for you? Kirishima scratched his nape, chuckling nervously. I know. But I'm just giving it to you. Why? He asked. Why you like her, right? But she likes me, but I like someone else, remember? So I think you deserve this chocolate from her, he told, drawing the chocolate closer to his hands. Why you sure? He said, unsure whether to take the chocolates or not. Kirishima nodded. I'm supporting you, man. Siro smiled and kindly received the chocolates from him. All right, then, I'm going to give my chocolate to that person, Kirishima talked, showing off the chocolate he made on his palms. Isn't the girl supposed to do that? Kirishima grinned, sheepishly. I know, but I just want to give it. After that, he left the spot, with Siro alone, looking at the chocolates Mina made. But he frowned it instead. I wish these were meant to be mine. On the other hand, finally, after Kaminari left Izuku just now, he then opened his shoe locker. There, he widened his eyes with sparks in it, seeing inside his locker a packet of chocolates. He smiled brightly with tears forming in his eyes. He grabbed the chocolate, and yes, it was the same person that gave him chocolates every year. Same packet, same homemade chocolate bars, and a note saying, "Enjoy, heart." He sighed in relief and started unzipping his bag to put it in. He can't believe that person still gave him until now. And now that he realized it, he was now curious to know who this person is. Deku-kun. That voice echoed through the area as Izuku felt his heart beating faster and faster and his cheeks burning red. His body trembling in fear, anxiety, and excitement. The voice he missed every day, every time. He just can't get enough of it. He then turned slowly to the direction of the voice, seeing the angelic person, Ochako, running towards him. Izuku frowned as he said, "Sorry, Uraraka-san, maybe tomorrow, I need to go no." Before he could step out of the building, he felt Ochako's hands, grabbing Izuku's green vest on the back. It startled him, making him stop his tracks. "Deku-kun," she softly called, and she voice seemed very dejected, which made him taken aback. Have he gone too far? He turned around slowly to face her beautiful, perfectly round face. He has never seen her up close with eye contact in a long time. He studied her features, remembering each and every single detail of her face. He missed it a lot, seeing those cute puffy cheeks, she always does. She showed him in her hands a packet of sweet, delicious chocolate cookies. This made Izuku blush harder and his heart exploding with his entire body frozen. His legs almost gave in but managed to control himself. "Here are some chocolates I made for you, too," she said with a nervous smile on her face. He then cocked an eyebrow, too. He whispered, "So there are others too, huh?" He was expecting something else. "Hope you'll like them." After that, Izuku took the packet as Ochako continued. "To be honest, Deku-kun, do you realize we aren't taking that much?" Izuku stood in his position, not moving an inch. What? Really? He played dumb. Yeah, I was just thinking if you aren't feeling so well these past 2 weeks, she said, unsurely. Izuku chuckled nervously. I'm sorry, maybe I was just busy. Ochako nodded, sadly. I see. Thanks for the chocolates, Uraraka-san. I'll be heading home now, he said as he made his way out of the campus. Ochako looked down, still upset. She knows that he wasn't telling the truth. It was clearly shown in his face. But she wasn't just sad because he didn't want to tell her, but the fact that he doesn't know how she feels. She needs to find another way to fix this. And just like that, she left the spot, going back home. What the hell? Bakugo muttered, seeing a packet of chocolates in his bag at home. Who in the fuck would give me this rubbish? He took it out and analyzes it in his hands. He was about to throw it but stopped his actions when he saw what's inside. It was his favorite type of cookies. It wasn't those typical chocolates ones but his favorite, almond biscuits. He was taken aback then started eating the cookies, not caring who gave it. If he knew who it was, maybe he wouldn't care less. But since it was unknown, he didn't bother to figure out who this person is for it would be troublesome for him. It's good, he said to himself, taking another bite of it. Izuku arrived home, finding Kaminari swaying on the couch, with a big smile on his face. What in the world? He said. Kaminari saw Izuku entered and he told. I finally got a chocolate Tilda. He then showed his packet of chocolate from Jiro. Izuku then widened his eyes, surprised. Really? From who? Jiro-san Tilda. He sang, placing the packet on one of his cheeks, with a bright grin. He then asked the green unruly boy. How about you? Still nothing. He took out the 2 packets from his bag. This one is from Uraraka-san and this one is. He then paused. I don't know actually. Kaminari gazed at the unknown chocolate packet. He went towards to Izuku and studied. Well, it's definitely a girl. Izuku smacked Kaminari's head on the side. Idiot, obviously. Kaminari then continued to stare at it. I don't know. Izuku then frowned and passed by Kaminari, going to his room. Hey Tilda, at least Uraraka gave you one Tilda, he teased, which made Izuku blush a bit behind his back. Shut up, he said, running into his room. She likes you Tilda, he continued his teasings as Izuku entered his room. Izuku landed on the bed and immediately opened Ochako's packet of chocolates. He then took a bite. He just couldn't wait to eat Ochako's cooking again. With the taste in his tongue spreading, the goodness in it has made Izuku melted with its magnificent flavor. Indeed, he knew it was going to taste amazing. He really loved Ochako's homemade food. But he then felt guilty after that. He didn't know what to do anymore. All this, and Ochako was already wondering about the gap between them he's making. He knew that she realized it, but he still lied to her. And yet, these feelings are still mixed up in him. He sighed, and wrapped his arms around his legs, embracing it. What should I do? Hey y'all. Thanks for reading this once again, smiley face. I'm sorry I'm kinda getting slow in updating now. School has been pretty busy despite me being in the last year of high school. I hope you guys vote and leave a comment if you'd like. Your support still motivates me every day and it has made me so into writing this now, unlike my other stories. I really can't wait to finish this. So, I'm just gonna say that, I'm starting this new book. I'm gonna start after finishing this one. I'll publish a sneak peek next week. It's of course, an Iswocha fanfiction, but this time, it's more on like violence, crime, drugs, murders and tragedies, so yeah, there's romance involving those. It's basically villain deku, and it's strictly only for those who can handle gore scenes, overuse of drugs and abusiveness. So yeah, I technically made the story and I'll publish soon, so hope you guys check it out, yeah. 3. Okay, so see you in the next chapter then. Bye. Love y'all, heart 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 heart. Where stories live. Discover now.